Hey guys, welcome to another episode on our channel. And our guest for today is Mrs Kaehalee Shinde. Hello, ma'am. It's great having you on our platform. Thank you for coming.
Hi. So before we start off, I definitely just want to let your viewers know that we are talking about certain specific questions that people have sent out to you, and they definitely shouldn't use platforms like this as a substitute for therapy. It's a great place, where people are coming in. You're doing a great job. You're having experts over who are talking about, specific issues, and it's great, but I think definitely every therapy involves a lot of emotional work. It involves a therapist going into really the past, the history, exploring the problem for quite some time before we can even give any suggestions. We would like to guide our clients towards the answer most of the time. So I just hope that people do understand that, and they understand that we're answering very specific questions, and if it works for them, they can definitely think about applying it to themselves as well, because we do that. A lot of people would go online and search through a lot of different content before they even finally book a therapist session. But if they do feel that it's not helping, or they would really they would really like to make a difference, I would definitely suggest them to reach out to a counselor or therapist for even a session. Even one session, it helps a lot. Yeah.
All right, that's great. Okay, so do you mind getting started with the questions?
Definitely, let's get started.
Okay, so the first question. It says many relationships are falling out due to long distance. How do I deal with the loss without self-blame since I'm generally bad at letting go of people?
Yes. So I usually, like my clients or anybody who's asking help to me, I like them to explore why something is happening before we talk about how we can fix on it. And I think when we talk about in terms of long distance, we talk about in terms of what she should do. It's important for her to figure out that um, you know it's a very difficult thing being in a long distance. It's a very difficult thing to not depend on your partner as much, right? Can you repeat the last part of the question again for me so that I can come around to that?
Yeah, so it says, how do I deal with the loss without actually blaming myself since I'm bad
Yeah.
at letting go of people?
So even though it is, we're talking specifically in terms of a long distance relationship, but she talks about self blame, right? And I think that's more important, when it comes here. A lot of time, what happens is that while growing up, we like to feel that things are in our control. And when things are in our control, we can fix them, we can work on them, we can somehow make this relationship work, right? And a lot of times we don't want to accept that there are, in any relationship with a long distance, or if you're meeting every day, 50% of that relationship is definitely your partner's responsibility, right? And uh, every single thing cannot be in our control, right? So when a relationship ends, usually we do assign blame to ourselves, primarily because we feel as though, hey, if I can't fix it, how do I stop this from happening again? How do I not let a bad relationship happen again? Right? And that thought is quite scary, right? So we will go over the relationship. We will think about, okay, what went wrong? What did I do wrong? Could I have said that differently? Could I have done that differently? Maybe I shouldn't have reacted so harshly, in that. Or maybe I should have let go of that also this time. And I think here the need is to feel in control so that we can avoid getting into a similar relationship again. Or we want to be able to control a relationship not ending, or
Yeah.
not going down the wrong lane. And I think in this situation, it really helps to understand that when something goes wrong, especially in something that like a relationship, it is 50% the other person's responsibility. There are a lot of factors and a lot of variables that are not in our control, right? There are situations that happen, there are situations that there's a place that we are in, there is the other person's personality and who they are and how they're approaching the relationship, and there are a lot of things that are not really in our control. And what I think would be wise to do in this situation or in any relationship is to accept that, hey, when I do decide to get into a relationship, yes, there are certain things that are in my control and I can take responsibility for them, which are my thoughts, my opinions, how I approach these relationships, how I approach conflicts, and all these things are definitely in my control, therefore my responsibility. But we also want to not take the responsibility of things that are not in our control, which are things that happen to us, situations, the other person's thoughts, opinions, emotions, all of this. We definitely want to understand that those things we don't want to take responsibility of because they're not in our control.
Right. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay. All right. So the next question. It says, I have issues with my sleep schedule. I stay up late nights and I feel quite unproductive in the day. Negative thoughts from the day keep running through my head and I'm unable to sleep. I need help for a better lifestyle.
Yes, I think that seems to be an issue that's come up lately. A lot of people, yeah, are having that. And I think here she talks about two things. I think she talks about sleep. She talks about being unproductive during the day. And I think she also talked about negative thoughts, which are
Yeah,
running.
when the thing
Yeah.
away.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So these are the three things which seem, maybe we need to talk about. As far as all three of these things are concerned, I think the first thing would be to set a structure to your day. Right? I think it's extremely important to set a structure to our day. So ideally, whenever somebody does come with sleep issues that are not clinical in nature, that are not, maybe it has happened very recently, there's an adjustment, there is they've shifted towns, or the lockdown has started and we're not used to working from home and all of that. I think it's important to first set a structure to our day. And when I say structure, I don't mean wake up at 8 and 8:30 get ready and 8:45 have breakfast. And I don't mean that. I think we need to give ourselves a basic structure. What helps with sleep, these are usually the suggestions that I give, is number one, set your times to go to bed and get out of bed. Now watch what I'm saying. I'm not saying go to sleep or wake up, because that's not much in our control. Our body and our circadian rhythm should be allowed to set into a pattern, and once it does, we definitely will be able to. If right now you're waking up at 10:30, then don't aim to get up at 6 o'clock. Start by waking up like half an hour earlier, right? So I think set a structure, decide a time to go to bed and get out of bed. Once that is decided, the first thing is go brush your teeth. That's what I say. The first thing is get up and go brush your teeth. And if you still feel like sleeping, come back to bed. Usually that doesn't happen, right? But that's something that I suggest. Another thing also I suggest is putting something in your stomach half an hour, within half an hour of waking up. Right, you've been sleeping, you've been fasting for a very long period of time. A very simple thing would be to make sure that you eat something within half an hour of waking up, and then 20 to 30 minutes of moderate physical activity. Right, I know it's lockdown, people can't go out, and I'm fine if people go up and do staircase climbing or skipping, or like watch some tutorial or something on YouTube and do a basic physical activity. Have that structure to your morning immediately after you wake up. right? And it can be modified. If you don't want to do physical activity, if it's somebody who is a little older, I'm fine with them maybe even sitting out in their balcony soaking up some sun. I do suggest to do something for yourself when you wake up in the morning, right? Have a basic structure to your day within, right? So maybe when you want to study, when you want to work, definitely a time for when you want to eat, right? And it has to be tentative, right? 8 hours of sleep, right? 6 hours of other activity, and whatever 10 hours are left, that can be your productive activity, right? If you keep on forcing yourself to be productive all the time, what's going to happen is your brain is going to feel compelled, and it's going to say, but it's too much, right? It's that frustration comes up, and we don't want to do something that's uncomfortable. We want to push it off because we have a lot of time left in the day still, right? So our brain's going to go to that. So get this out of the way, because these things are going to this is something I suggest to fix our circadian rhythm, right? It's going to fix the good chemicals that are going to get flowing in your body as well. So have that structure. Another thing for sleep would be how you're ending your day. And some very important things, very basic and simple, but very difficult to do, would be one, cutting off your screen time at least an hour prior to bedtime, right? I think we all are going to sleep like this, right? And we don't want to do that. So cutting off your screen time at least half an hour prior to bedtime. I do also suggest that change the lighting in your home. I know that's a big thing. That's a big thing that I'm suggesting, but simply replacing a white fluorescent bulb with, yellow bulbs. So have yellow lighting in your home. I think that's very important. But post 6:37, don't light up your house like it's Christmas. I think have the lights dim if you're having people over or anything like that. I understand. Even then, in the evenings, try and reduce light exposure to how much ever is necessary, right? If everything is lit up. So what happens is your brain needs to secrete a specific chemical to indicate your body that, hey, it's time to sleep off. It's time to shut down. Your body just can't, there's no switch that you just fall off to sleep. Your body needs to shut down. And we need to understand that sleep is not about exhaustion, physical exhaustion, and I hit the bed and I'm, out. That's exhaustion. Sleep is about relaxation. You need to be relaxed to have a good sleep. And so, one, definitely dim your lights. Whatever lights you have, try and have more of yellow lighting in your home. Reduce your screen time, at least post. And if too much can't happen, a lot of people are working, a lot of other things are happening. What I would suggest is definitely half an hour minimum prior to your bedtime, we want to cut off the screen time. Another thing I definitely suggest in the end is have a sleep routine, right? So I'll give you an example, right? It can be anything for you, whatever works for you, whatever you find is relaxing for you. I think you should take it up. A hot, shower, right? Cleansing, toning, moisturizing. I know, for guys, it can be something different, but I do that, right? It's a step-by-step routine. And I know by the time I'm done and I'm in my PJs, my body is like, now it's time to sleep off, my brain is ready that, okay, this is what we have to do. Another thing is, please don't work in your bedroom. Please don't work on your bed, right? So don't take your laptop and do work on your bed. Have your work area and have your sleep area, right? Otherwise your brain is going to get confused. All right, so we want to condition our brain that bed, sleep, right? These two things we want to be able to do. Also, this is not, I don't want people to take this suggestion very lightly, but I've seen that, a lot of people resort immediately going to medications. Immediately they would get help and they would get on medications to help fall asleep better. And I think another thing that I've seen that works really well is simply about 2 pinches, just 2 simple pinches of nutmeg powder, right? In a warm beverage. So you can have no stimulants, no tea or coffee, but you can have hot chocolate, you can have golden milk, you can have turmeric milk, you can have Bournvita, right? And about 2 pinches of nutmeg before, about half an hour before. Definitely, again, like I said, all this advice, we need to know your history, we need to understand. It's not a very thing, but it helps. It helps people fall asleep better, right? So I think start with getting out of bed and getting in and out of bed. Do your morning stuff, have a structure to the beginning of your day, have a structure to the end of your day, right? um, let's try, procrastinating is another thing. Giving your day a structure, start it off, right? And eventually, I think as your sleep improves, you're less irritable during the day, you have more energy. Give those 6 hours to things that nourish you and make you feel good as well, right? And then have set times also for your work, because that's output. You want to balance the input and the output.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. So now moving on to the last one. How to
Yeah.
be comfortable being alone and at peace with myself.
Oh, that's a big question, right? I would like to do that myself as well. But I
We
think, yeah, I think this is something that we all can strive towards. Now, let's not undermine the importance of relationships as social beings, which we are. We don't want to undermine the importance of um, nurturing connections and good friendships and relationships, the importance of that. But I think this is something that we all can strive towards, and to be able to do that, I think we can take ourselves out on dates once a week. I like the idea of that. I like the idea of being able to go shopping by myself, right? And think about it, such a nice thing, right? You don't have anybody else. You're there just for you. You're trying on your dresses, you're buying. You don't, you ask yourself, hey, is this okay? Am I spending too much? And you can tell yourself, hey, no, that's fine, and then go ahead with it. But no, jokes apart, I think try and take up activities that you enjoy. Try and activities that the process of which are very nourishing. So it can be a pottery class, it can be a painting class, it can be a new thing that you're learning, it can be a run, it can be going out for lunch, on a daily basis. And doing all this without your cell phones, right? Very important. If you have your cell phone, you are connected to people, you are connected to the world. And I think, or you'll be taking pictures of whatever you're doing to be, posting later. And that is not you being alone, right? That is not. So there is a big difference between being alone or, lonely or feeling lonely and solitude, right? And solitude is something we all can strive for. And we need to make it a lifestyle, more of a lifestyle, right? It may be uncomfortable in the beginning. I think we all start thinking that, oh my God, are people judging me? That what is this person doing and sitting and by herself and having lunch, or, something like that. But I think it allows us to be with our thoughts, both good or bad. As human beings, we can't only have overtly positive thoughts, we are going to have difficult thoughts as well. And we need to be able to develop the skill to start enjoying our own company, to start sitting with the good thoughts as well as the difficult ones, without obsessing over them or holding on to them, being able to sit with them, listen to them as well, and allow them to leave whenever they're ready. But what we all can do is start indulging in an activity that is inherently nourishing for us, that we do enjoy, right? So cooking, playing, anything, right? And do it by yourself, and do it without a cell phone and a need to post about it.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Yeah.
can start off there.
I think so too. Yeah. All right. Okay, so thank you for coming. It was a great session, and I hope our viewers really enjoyed listening to you. Hey guys, I really hope you liked today's session, and I just have 3 steps to follow, small ones, to help us with this initiative. So, step number 1, please follow Therapy. Step number 2, continue sending in all your questions as freely as you guys have. It's really helpful. And step number 3, if you have any suggestions, anything to say about this initiative, please comment below. Thank you, guys.